and the Dobbs decision was leaked and then it was enacted, which is Democrats have continued to overperform expectations all across the country, and Republicans have struggled. We saw it throughout 2022. We saw it throughout 2023, and we're now seeing it in the early part of 2024. Donald Trump has dramatically underperformed public polling now in all three of the early Republican primary states. In Iowa, there was anemic turnout, another sign of weakness, and alarm bells should be going off, right? Trump is burning through more cash than he's raising. He's losing in all his court cases. The RNC is broke and replacing their leadership. House Republicans are abandoning ship and retiring at record numbers. Their thing is broke and broken right now. And I think that this idea that somehow you can look at all that and see something that's strong rather than weak is kind of, a little bit hard for me to imagine. I think Donald Trump is a much weaker figure in 2024 than he was in 2020. And as Gavin Newsom said, Joe Biden is going to have a very strong record to run on this November.
So we didn't have an exit poll asking Haley voters, would you not vote for Donald Trump in November? But Fox is reporting they have some analysis to indicate that it's a majority of Haley voters saying that they will not vote for Donald Trump in November. You only need a small slice of Haley voters to not vote for Donald Trump, and it becomes impossible for Donald Trump to win.
Well, it's not only that they're saying they won't vote for Donald Trump, they're saying they'll vote for Joe Biden, right? And Lawrence, we haven't seen polling like this probably since the early 1980s or the 1984 election, where so many people in one party have now said repeatedly in the early states where they see ads, they see candidates where they're engaged and they're having to make intelligent decisions, right? They're not in some state that's not going to see a candidate where they're not really checked in. Where Republican voters are checked in, there is a clear openness among a big chunk of the Republican electorate, and we'll see how big it is, right? It could be as much as 4 or 5% of the overall electorate in the United States of Republicans who are now open to voting for Biden because of their disgust of Trump. Look, I do think something really broke in the Republican Party back in the spring of 2022, where the Republican Party became even too ugly and too awful and too dangerous, even for Republican voters. And that's why they've continued to struggle to bring their coalition back together. And Trump is worse than he was in 2020. I mean, we've gone over some of that in the show tonight. And so if you're a wavering Republican, right, there is a lot more reason to waver than there was 4 years ago when he lost the election. And so, yeah, I think there is all sorts of early warning signs if you want to look for them. If you're interested in looking for the warning signs about Trump's and the GOP right now, they're all there blinking bright red and making loud noises that this is a troubled candidacy and a troubled party against a strong incumbent.
And that is before the Democrats run a single campaign commercial about in vitro fertilization, which is the newest madness to enter the campaign through the Republicans. Simon Rosenberg, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Wow. Incredible. Amazing. My go-to is Lumify eye drops.
Lumify dramatically reduces redness.
In 1 minute.
And look at the difference.
My eyes look brighter and whiter.
For up to 8 hours.
Lumify, it's kind of amazing.
See for yourself.
Shingles. Some describe it as an intense burning sensation or an unbearable itch. This painful, blistering rash can disrupt your life for weeks and could make it hard to be there